What is going on, guys? This is Justin here from Bonafide Kayaks, and today I've got a new accessory for the SS127. This is the 127 bow plate. In this video, I will go over what hardware is included. I'll show you how to install the plate, and I'll give you a few accessories, all right, that you can add onto this plate to further enhance that ultimate fishability. Stay tuned. Remy, come here. Remy, let me wipe your face. Let me wipe your face. So before we get started, there's a couple of things that you're gonna need to do before we get rolling with this installation. You're gonna remove that front ball strap as well as that bow handle. Included in your hardware kit are a set of screws that are just a tad bit longer. You're gonna wanna use those. We included those because the base portion of the plate will actually attach to that handle. So those screws needed to be just a tad bit longer. You're gonna grab your hardware kit. You're gonna identify those two 1/4-20 inserts that will be replacing those inserts that come standard on the SS127. I've gone ahead and located those. I will now grab the bow handle as well as the base plate, all right, to that bow plate portion. We're gonna go ahead and reinstall that handle. Installing this handle is as simple as just lining that base plate up first, and then I'm going to layer that bow handle right over the base plate. All right, you're gonna have to eyeball these screw holes right here. Once you've got both sides about a halfway in, then you can just go back and forth until both sides are completely tightened down. All right, now that your base plate and bow handle are fully installed, go ahead and grab that last piece, the actual plate. You will notice here on the inside, there is a recessed area that will fit over that base plate. All you're gonna do, line that up, snug, just like so. Perfect. Now the next step here, we are ready for drilling. In order for us to keep this plate nice and level while drilling, take out your two black washers that are included in that hardware kit. You're gonna wanna place each one on either side of the plate. All right, and that's gonna keep the plate nice and level when we drill these 3 pilot holes here at the top. So next part here, we're gonna drill our 3 holes. Go ahead and find you a 3/32 drill bit. You can identify the 3 holes that you'll be drilling by locating the 3 recessed areas. And again, these are just pilot holes, so you're not gonna wanna drill any further than about 1/4 of an inch. It's really important here that we're keeping that drill bit high. We are drilling straight down into that base plate, making sure that line is nice and straight and we are not going off on either side. Once you've got all your pilot holes drilled, go ahead and put back that 3/32 and locate your 3 screws that will be going up front. Once you've got those located, you can give each one a couple turns. Just go ahead and get them started. I will mention before you drill these down, put your drill at a 7, okay? We don't want to strip out the inside of this screw boss that we just made, so go all the way down. Stop when it tightens, go on to the next. And now we've got our plate attached to our base portion. Bless her heart, she doesn't have her bed here with her. Are you sleeping on the job? So last 2 holes that we're gonna drill next, I've got my 1/4 drill bit. We are drilling a hole on either side of the 127. This is gonna give that front plate some added stability, as well as allow you to trim that plate forward and backward, depending on your needs. So I've got my 1/4 drill bit. I'm going to drill a hole on either side of this SS127. Again, I'm keeping that drill tall. I'm making sure I'm going straight down. If you see here, there is some variance on either side. So if you don't get this hole directly center, do not worry about it. You have some room for error. So I'll show you here, my hole is directly center, all right, of that pilot hole. I did as best as I could to line that up. It should be right on the money. So for this last step here of my remaining hardware, I've got 2 1/4-20 screws, I've got 2 washers, I've got those 2 spacers, and then lastly, I've got some 1/4-20 backing plates that will go on the inside of the kayak. I have here my longest 1/4-20 with that washer. I'm gonna take the spacer, place it right above that hole that we just drilled. I'm gonna line it up as best as I can, and then I'm gonna thread that 1/4-20 all the way through. Perfect. And then I'll just go to that opposite side, line up that spacer, grab your remaining 1/4-20 and washer. Perfect, all the way down. So the last step in this installation, you're left with your 1/4-20 backing plates. Just remove that front bow hatch. I do have some electrical wiring up here, so it's kind of difficult for me to have access, but either way, get that moved to the side. So lastly, you can put that 1/4 drill bit back up. Grab your drill, all right, and your 2 1/4-20 backing plates. These are threaded. You do not need a washer or a nut on the inside of this installation. Again, we're keeping our drill at 7. As soon as that drill tightens, we're gonna release and then proceed to the opposite side. And as I mentioned before, you can trim this plate, all right? So if you wanna sit that plate just a little bit further back, you can put your drill at a 10 and you can tighten those spacers just a tad more. All right, I was using a 7, so that got the plate nice and even. Like I mentioned, if you want to take this plate just a little bit further back on that level plane, then you can tighten it down to maybe a 10 or even 11. So now that we have our plate fully installed, we are ready to go over some of its uses straight out the box. Hey, I'm trying to film here. Oh yeah, just my written girl. So now that we have the plate fully installed, we are ready to go over some of its features right out of the box, as well as any additional accessories that you can mount to the plate aftermarket. One of my favorite features that we included in this plate, like I mentioned before, we got rid of the boss strap. However, we did not want to get rid of the paddle park up front. All right, one of the reasons why we left about 1 inch underneath this plate was in order to accommodate that paddle. We did not want to lose that forward paddle storage. We feel like this is a key feature to our models. Another cool feature here that kind of goes along with that paddle park, if you ever use a Yak Attack parking pole or any type of pole anchor, you can easily stow that anchor right underneath the plate, and then you can use the side handle bungee to cinch this thing down, and this anchor is completely out of the way and leaves you free deck space to move around. You do not have to worry about this pole getting in your way at all. So one of the last features right out of the box, something that I was really excited to incorporate in this plate, but we have the ability to use that plate as a rod tip cover. You can stow that rod nice and neatly right underneath that plate, and then you can rest your rod butt right in between that open area on the surface of the deck. So just right out of the box, you're not losing any features. You're not losing that paddle park up here at the bow. You're actually gaining some rod tip covers on either side, and then you could also fit any parking pole or power pole directly underneath this plate right out of the box. So the last portion of this video is going to be dedicated to the two major aftermarket accessories that can mount right to this SS127 bow plate. You've got the micro power pole from Power Pole, and then you've got the quick release bracket from Motor Guide. First, I'm going to reach in my handy dandy cabinet. I'm going to pull me out a power pole mount. Got a couple of quick release brackets on the other side over there. So here I have the remaining hardware out of our bag. You have 6 seated inserts, and in order to install this power pole or even the quick release bracket from Motor Guide, you'll need 4 of these seated inserts. So after removing those backing plates, you can now lift up the plate further enough to install those seated screws on the bottom of the plate. I'm just going to reach my hand all the way under. And then I'm not going to tighten all the way down. I'm just going to make sure it's seated. And then I'm going to go over to that opposite side. And lastly, after you've got those 2 installed, you can go to the front and do the same procedure. Good, just like so. Once you've got all of the inserts threaded just about halfway, then you can go back and tighten down those inserts. Once that is completed, you can go back, grab your 1/4 20 backing plates, and reinstall those. So for the quick release bracket, it is pretty much the same procedure. Again, we do not include these screws to tighten this thing down. You can find those at your local hardware store or get them straight from Motor Guide. You will have a different hole pattern for this. All right, so you're gonna have to switch up those set inserts on the bottom. But other than that, those were the 2 major accessories, all right, aftermarket accessories that you can mount to this Bow SS127 plate. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and look out for more videos coming from Bonafide in the future. All right, sleepy dog. We can go home and take a nap. You ready to go home? Ooh, big girl. Ooh.